The villain, Kyle Busch. Love him or hate him, Kyle Busch embraced the bad guy role in NASCAR like Thanos collecting Infinity Stones. With 2 Cup championships and over 60 wins, Rowdy Busch relished being booed. He's as famous for his FU attitude as for his talent. He once threw a punch at Joey Logano after a race. Busch's aggressive driving and salty soundbites earned him the sport's villain crown. Yet, even villains rack up stats. He's smashed records in Xfinity and trucks and won a Cup race at almost every active track. He's the Darth Vader of NASCAR, feared on the track, unapologetic off it, and undeniably powerful in performance. The Golden Boy, Jeff Gordon. With a megawatt smile and California charm, Jeff Gordon arrived in the 90s like a Wonder Boy superhero. He was polished and youthful. Think Captain America in a rainbow-colored fire suit, which ruffled the good old boys of NASCAR's old guard. Earnhardt Sr. dubbed him Wonder Boy, and fans either cheered or jeered the 4-time champion, who racked up 93 wins, 3rd all-time. Gordon's slick image and talent helped NASCAR go mainstream, drawing new fans with hip appeal. He even hosted Saturday Night Live, proving he wasn't just a racer but a pop culture star. From Rainbow Warrior to Hall of Famer, Gordon's golden reputation and stats shine brightly behind that boyish grin. The Intimidator, Dale Earnhardt. Dale Earnhardt Sr. was the man in black, NASCAR's ultimate tough guy with a sly grin beneath the mustache. He earned the nickname the Intimidator by rattling rivals' bumpers and nerves alike. With 7 Cup championships, tied for the record, and 76 wins, Earnhardt drove like an outlaw sheriff. If you saw the black number 3 in your mirror, your goose was cooked. He'd bump you out of the way on a last lap and call it rattling your cage. Fans loved it. He was the sport's folk hero, equal parts Darth Vader and John Wayne. Earnhardt's aggressive style and fearless persona made him a legend who would wreck his grandma to win, and you'd still applaud. The People's Champ, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale Jr. inherited his father's name but forged his own legacy as the sport's beloved everyman. With 15 straight Most Popular Driver awards, he was NASCAR's fan-favorite rock star. Think of him as the people's champion of stock cars. Jr. never won a Cup title, but he scored 26 wins, including 2 Daytona 500 victories. More importantly, he carried the sport's banner after his father's passing, bringing new fans along for the ride. Jr.'s candid personality, from goofy TV commercials to his MTV Cribs episode, made him relatable. When he finally won the Daytona 500 in 2004, the grandstands erupted like WrestleMania. Championships or not, Dale Jr.'s bond with fans made him their racing hero. The Dominator, Jimmie Johnson. Jimmie Johnson was so dominant, they practically changed the rules because of him. The 7-time champion, including a record 5 in a row, drove the number 48 like a well-oiled machine, calmly conquering NASCAR's playoffs year after year. He collected 83 wins, often in clutch fashion, earning a reputation as the Tom Brady of NASCAR. Some fans called him vanilla, but Johnson's consistency was anything but boring. He was more like Superman, complete with a comic book crossover. Remember his Superman paint scheme. In 2007, he even hit double-digit wins in a season. Crew chief Chad Knaus and Johnson were a dynamic duo that other teams dreaded. Love it or not, his record-tying championship count cements Johnson as a GOAT contender, a dominator who made winning look routine. The Underdog champion, Alan Kulwicki. Alan Kulwicki's 1992 title run is the stuff of sports legend, the Rocky Balboa story on wheels. An independent driver-owner with a single car team, Kulwicki battled powerhouse teams and won the Cup championship by the slimmest margin. Armed with an engineering degree and nicknaming his car Underbird, he outsmarted the field with strategy, leading 1 extra lap for a bonus point that clinched the title. Kulwicki celebrated with a backward Polish victory lap, saluting the crowd in style. His work ethic and refusal to quit made him an underdog fan favorite. Though tragedy cut his life short not long after his championship, Kulwicki's legacy lives on as proof that brains, grit, and determination can conquer giants in NASCAR. The Cinderella story, Trevor Bayne. A true Cinderella in a fire suit, Trevor Bayne came out of nowhere to win the 2011 Daytona 500 at age 20. It was only his 2nd Cup start, and he didn't even know how to find victory lane. Literally, he missed the turn pulling in. Bayne's upset sent shockwaves through NASCAR. The kid who grew up watching SpongeBob, Rugrats was his favorite show, beat the veterans on the sport's biggest stage. Driving the iconic Wood Brothers number 21, he gave the legendary team its first Daytona 500 win since 1976. The win was so improbable it felt scripted by Disney. A fresh-faced underdog defeats the Giants in overtime. Trevor Bayne's fairy tale win remains one of NASCAR's most feel-good moments, a real Bayne and the giant killer story. The Hothead champion, Tony Stewart. Stewart was a wheelman with a short fuse and immense talent, basically NASCAR's version of the Hulk. One minute he'd be jovial, the next he'd explode. He once flung his helmet at Matt Kenseth's car in anger. Stewart earned the nickname Smoke, partly for fiery burnouts, mostly for his fiery temper. But he backed it up with 3 Cup championships and 49 wins. A versatile racer, Stewart could drive anything on dirt or asphalt, and often did. He famously said, "I'd wreck my mom to win a championship. I'd wreck your mom to win a championship." That brash approach paid off in an epic 2011 title run, where he won 5 of the 10 playoff races to steal the crown. Tony's rock and roll persona, he literally hosted a radio show, and take no prisoners style made him the sport's lovable rebel. Quick to anger, but quicker to victory lane. The closer, Kevin Harvick. When a race is on the line, Kevin Harvick becomes the NASCAR equivalent of Mariano Rivera, the closer. Harvick earned that nickname by snatching victories in the final laps of many races. With 60 Cup wins and the 2014 championship, he's the guy who lurks in the top 5 all day then pounces when it counts. Harvick famously stepped into Dale Earnhardt's seat in 2001 and won just 3 weeks later, a clutch debut under immense pressure. His timing is legendary, from a photo finish Daytona win to a last-second pass at Atlanta. Off-track, Happy Harvick can be blunt and fiery. His confrontations are well known. But when the pressure cooker heats up, he's ice cold. If the race were a heist movie, Harvick is the smooth operator who steals the win in the final scene. The veteran mentor, Mark Martin. Mark Martin is the Obi-Wan Kenobi of NASCAR, wise, respected, and a mentor to many young Jedi drivers. In a 31-year Cup career, Martin won 40 races and 5 times finished runner-up in the championship. Dubbed the greatest driver to never win a championship, he handled heartbreak with class. Martin was known for clean driving and fitness before it was cool. His workout regimen in the 90s was legendary. He took youngsters like Matt Kenseth under his wing and even recommended future stars to team owners. Fans and peers adored his humility and sportsmanship. No temper tantrums, just hard work and respect. When Martin finally made the Hall of Fame, it was a victory for every nice guy in sports. He might not have a Cup title, but his legacy as a mentor and badass racer is unquestioned. The Showman. Darrell Waltrip. Before there was a Hollywood Cars movie character based on him, hello, Darrell Cartrip, Darrell Waltrip was already NASCAR's ultimate showman. In the 70s and 80s, Jaws Waltrip was witty, cocky, and loud. He talked the talk and walked the walk. A 3-time champ with 84 wins, he'd banter on the radio and celebrate with his trademark Icky Shuffle dance in Victory Lane. Waltrip loved the spotlight. "I loved the attention. I wanted to be a superstar," he admitted. Early on, his brash persona ruffled feathers among the good old boys, but fans grew to love his charisma. He's the guy who'd deliver a catchphrase, boogity, 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 as naturally as turning laps. Waltrip's showmanship helped bring NASCAR to the masses. He was larger than life, a true entertainer who also happened to wheel a car into the record books. The international wildcard, Juan Pablo Montoya. Juan Pablo Montoya brought Formula One flair and a bit of chaos to NASCAR. A 2-time Indy 500 winner and F1 star, Montoya was a globe-trotting racer who shocked stock car fans by tackling the ovals. He snagged 2 Cup wins, both on road courses, naturally, and dozens of top 10s. But JPM's NASCAR legacy is explosive. In the 2012 Daytona 500, under caution, his car broke and he slammed into a jet dryer, triggering a fiery explosion that will live in highlight reels forever. Montoya walked away fine, but the track needed a 2-hour cleanup. He also wasn't afraid to ruffle feathers, once wrecking teammate Scott Pruitt to win an Xfinity race. Montoya's Formula One precision mixed with NASCAR aggression made him the ultimate wildcard. Unpredictable, immensely talented, and always worth watching when the Colombian conquistador hit the track. The road course ace, Marcos Ambrose. When it came to turning left and right, Marcos Ambrose was king. This Tasmanian export had the skills of Crocodile Dundee behind the wheel of a stock car. Ambrose scored 2 Cup wins, both at Watkins Glen, where he was simply unbeatable on the twisties. In the Xfinity Series, he scored 5 road course wins, a mark that once tied the best in the series before A.J. Allmendinger surpassed it. His most famous moment? A thrilling duel in 2012 at the Glen, where Ambrose and Brad Keselowski traded paint and slid through oil in a wild last lap for the ages. Ambrose prevailed, with 4-wheel drifts like an action movie stunt driver. Aggressive and feisty, Ambrose gave the King Richard Petty some wins in the 21st century. Off track, his Aussie accent and easygoing humor made him a fan favorite. On road courses, he was Mad Max, fearless, fast, and flat-out dominant whenever right turns were involved. The comeback kid, Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson's story has a bit of Shakespearean fall and redemption. In 2020, he lost his top ride due to a mistake off track. He returned in 2021 like a man on fire, joining Hendrick Motorsports and promptly delivering one of the greatest comeback seasons ever. Larson won 10 races and the Cup Series championship in 2021, becoming the first driver to hit double-digit wins and the title in the same year since Jimmie Johnson. Behind the wheel, Larson is pure talent, a dirt track prodigy who can slide a sprint car on Saturday and dominate a stock car on Sunday. His daring driving, like riding the high line inches from the wall, earned him the nickname Young Money. Larson's 2021 run, including a clutch Homestead win and a pit crew-assisted finale at Phoenix, proved redemption is real. From outcast to top dog, Larson's journey back to the pinnacle showed that sometimes the sequel is even better than the original. The perennial bridesmaid, Denny Hamlin. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Denny Hamlin knows the feeling. With 50-plus wins, second most of anyone without a Cup title, Hamlin has done everything but seal the championship deal. He's a three-time Daytona 500 winner, clutched up in the Great American Race, yet the season crown eludes him like a bouquet just out of reach. In 2010 and 2020, he came heartbreakingly close, only to see the title slip away. Hamlin is outspoken and confident, embracing both hero cheers and villain boos in recent years. He's even leaned into a villain role enough to rival Kyle Busch. Statistically, he's the best driver without a championship, a label he'd rather shed. At 44, Hamlin's still chasing that one last box to tick. Until then, he's the NASCAR equivalent of Ted Lasso's team pre-final. Immensely talented, occasionally snakebit, but always in the mix and still hoping to get the ring. The Trailblazer, Danica Patrick. Danica Patrick broke through NASCAR's glass ceiling in a fire-retardant suit. The first woman to start on the Daytona 500 pole and the first to lead laps in that race, Patrick was a trailblazer in a male-dominated arena. She finished 8th in that 2013 Daytona 500, the highest ever for a female driver in the event. Though she didn't grab a Cup win, her impact was massive. She brought new fans, especially young girls, to the sport, and landed sponsorships that made her one of NASCAR's most recognizable figures. Danica's flair for marketing and crossover appeal sometimes overshadowed her solid runs, like a front-row start and 7 top 10 finishes in Cup. But her legacy is secure. Patrick proved women can compete at NASCAR's highest level, kicking the door open like a real-life Wonder Woman and inspiring the next generation of racers. The barrier breaker, Wendell Scott. Wendell Scott was Jackie Robinson in a stock car, breaking NASCAR's color barrier with courage and skill. In 1963, Scott became the first black driver to win a Cup Series race, conquering Jacksonville Speedway Park in his own underfunded car. But in a scene straight out of the Twilight Zone, officials initially denied him the win, declaring another driver the victor and not awarding Scott the trophy due to prejudice. It took 2 years for NASCAR to officially credit him that victory. Scott persevered through rampant discrimination, sparse funding, and even threats, yet racked up 147 top 10 finishes in his career. In 2021, NASCAR finally presented his family a trophy for that 1963 win, a long overdue recognition. Wendell Scott's story is one of grit and grace. He opened the door for future generations, like Bubba Wallace today, by never giving up. His Hall of Fame marker rightly praises him for persevering over prejudice and discrimination, cementing his legacy as a true trailblazer. The Hollywood Rebel, Tim Richmond. Tim Richmond lived fast on and off the track, a Hollywood playboy in NASCAR overalls. In the 80s, Richmond's flashy lifestyle, parties, fancy clothes, celebrity friends, clashed with NASCAR's down-home image. But boy, could he drive! With 13 wins, including 7 in 1986, Richmond had talent as outsized as his persona. He was one of the few drivers unafraid to go toe-to-toe with Dale Earnhardt on track. Tom Cruise's character Cole Trickle in Days of Thunder was loosely based on Richmond. That's how larger-than-life he was. Sadly, his career was cut short by illness, AIDS, kept secret in that era, and he passed in 1989. Richmond's go-for-broke driving and rockstar attitude made him a legend whose tale is equal parts inspiring and tragic. He was NASCAR's James Dean. Live fast, win races, leave a lasting legacy. The King, Richard Petty. They don't call him the King for nothing. Richard Petty amassed 200 Cup wins, a record that defies reality, and 7 championships, making him NASCAR's ultimate GOAT in a cowboy hat. In his trademark Petty Blue number 43, he was both royal and approachable, signing autographs for every fan. Petty dominated the 60s and 70s, including winning 27 races in 1967 alone. He won the Daytona 500 a record 7 times, his first in 1964 and a famed comeback in '79. Off-track, Petty's charm and longevity, he started 1,184 races, made him an ambassador of the sport. He'd flash that gap-toothed grin and say, "Everything's cool, man," whether talking to presidents or pit crews. Petty's 200th win came in '84 with President Reagan in attendance. Talk about star power. From the feather in his hat to the gentle wave of his hand, Richard Petty remains the iconic face of NASCAR. The king then, now, and probably forever. The Silver Fox. David Pearson. David Pearson was the Silver Fox. Cunning, smooth, and arguably the most naturally gifted driver ever to grip a steering wheel. With 105 Cup wins, second all-time, Pearson had a habit of showing up, winning, and heading back home. He often ran partial schedules, yet sniped 3 championships, 1966, '68, and '69, with strategic precision. His rivalry with Richard Petty was the stuff of lore. They finished 1-2 an astonishing 63 times, with Pearson usually stalking Petty until the last moment to pounce. The Fox nickname came from his sly racing style. Save the car, then strike like a fox on the hunt. His 1974 Winston 500 win at Talladega, coming from nearly a lap down, exemplified his calm brilliance. Soft-spoken off-track, Pearson let his driving do the talking. Legend has it, he'd take a nap before races, then wake up and outrun everyone. If Petty was king, Pearson was the prime minister who could beat the king at his own game, quietly, coolly, and with deadly efficiency. The blue-collar champ, Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski is the kind of racer who'd fit in as easily at a backyard barbecue as in Victory Lane. Hailing from a family racing shop, Keselowski cut his teeth working on his own cars, a true blue-collar racer. He burst onto the scene beating Earnhardt Jr. in a 2009 photo finish at Talladega, in an underfunded car no less, and never looked back. Bad Brad won the 2012 Cup Championship with a Miller Lite in hand during a live TV interview. Classic Keselowski. He's outspoken, unafraid to challenge NASCAR's status quo, famously tweeting from his car during a red flag in 2012. With over 35 wins and counting, Brad's aggressive style and occasional on-track dust-ups proved you don't need a silver spoon to succeed, just grit, determination, and a willingness to rub fenders. Part old-school racer, part new-age social media savvy, Keselowski remains the garage's candid straight shooter who will outwork and outdrive the competition with a grin. Blue collar to the core, championship on his shelf. The class clown, Clint Bowyer. If NASCAR gave a Most Likely to Make You Laugh award, Clint Bowyer would win in a landslide. Bowyer brought a dash of sitcom to the garage area, keeping things light with pranks and one-liners. He once said, "If you can't have fun at the racetrack, you might as well stay home. But don't let the jokes fool you." Clint could wheel it. He scored 10 Cup wins and nearly won a championship, coming second in 2012. Whether mock wrestling a teammate or photobombing an interview, Bowyer's energy was infectious. Fans remember his celebratory burnout and subsequent jog at Texas in 2011, when he ran to Victory Lane on foot after his car ran out of gas. Bowyer's crowning comedic moment might be radioing his team, "I'm about to whip somebody's ass," during a heated 2012 Phoenix melee. Now a Fox broadcaster, Clint's still the life of the party, cracking jokes from the booth. He's the class clown who could back it up on race day, making NASCAR a heck of a lot more fun. The Iron Man, Ricky Rudd. Tough, Ricky Rudd's got tough. Known as NASCAR's Iron Man for his streak of 788 consecutive starts, over 23 years, Rudd raced through pain that would sideline mere mortals. In 1984, he wrecked hard at Daytona, taped his swollen eyes open so he could see, and raced the very next week, earning the nickname Iron Man for that gritty feat. Rudd won 23 races in his career, including a famed Martinsville victory in 1998 where he overheated so badly he needed an IV afterward. He also wasn't afraid of a good fight. He and Dale Earnhardt had a legendary fender-banging duel in 1989. Rudd's lone nickname might be Rooster, but his legacy is iron. He showed up week in, week out for decades. When he finally hung up his helmet, he held the record for most consecutive starts, proving that toughness and tenacity define a true Ironman. Cal Ripken Jr. would be proud. The Iceman, Terry Labonte. Terry Labonte was as cool as the other side of the pillow, hence the nickname Iceman. Known for his calm, calculating style, Labonte captured 2 Cup championships 12 years apart, 1984 and 1996. He wasn't flashy or loud, he just got the job done with a poker face focus. In fact, in 655 consecutive starts from 1979 to 2000, nothing rattled Terry's nerves. Fans also called him Texas Terry, but it's his icy composure under pressure that defined him. Who can forget Bristol, 1995? Labonte, with his front end smoking, crossed the finish line sideways to win, and even then he was mellow in victory lane. He logged 22 wins and was revered for racing clean. Even when Dale Earnhardt spun him for a win in '99, Labonte kept his cool, publicly, at least. In an era of hotheads, Labonte's chill approach made him stand out. Whether battling for a title or munching on ice chips during caution laps, okay, we made that up, Terry Labonte truly earned the Iceman moniker, proof that nice guys who stay frosty can finish first. The Rocket Man, Ryan Newman. When it came to sheer qualifying speed, Ryan Newman was Rocket Man. In the early 2000s, Newman would consistently scorch one-lap poles, earning 11 poles in 2003, more than some drivers get in a lifetime. He had an engineering degree which he put to work fine-tuning setups for that extra tenth of a second. But Newman wasn't just a one-lap wonder. He won the 2008 Daytona 500 and 17 other races. He was also famously stubborn to pass, blocking low like a brick wall on wheels. Drivers joked racing Newman for position was like trying to pass a barnacle stuck on the track. His toughness showed off track too, surviving a terrifying crash in the 2020 Daytona 500 and walking out of the hospital days later holding his daughter's hands, earning widespread respect. Rocketman Newman combined brains, bravery, and bullheaded defense on track. He might not have snagged a Cup title, but anytime a modern driver nails a pole run, they're chasing Newman's legacy as the Rocketman of NASCAR. The prodigy, Joey Logano. Before he was old enough to vote, Joey Logano was nicknamed Sliced Bread, as in the greatest thing since, and he had sky-high expectations. Mark Martin gave the 18-year-old that nickname after Joey dominated lower series, and Logano didn't take long to deliver. After an early Cup win at 19, it took a move to Team Penske for Joey to truly fulfill the prodigy promise. He's since snagged 3 Cup championships, 2018, 2022, and 2024, and 37 wins, becoming the youngest 3-time champ in Cup history. Still in his 30s, Logano's already a seasoned veteran with a Hall of Fame resume. Logano's got a friendly, almost cherubic smile off-track, but behind the wheel he's a stone-cold racer. Remember him bumping Martin Truex Jr. out of the way at Martinsville 18 to punch his ticket to a title? Some rivals dubbed him two-faced, but Joey views it as flipping the competitive switch. Not bad for the kid once hyped as NASCAR's next big thing. He's proven that bold nickname true, carving up the competition like a hot knife through butter. The $1 Million Man, Bill Elliott. Awesome Bill from Dawsonville, the nickname says it all. Bill Elliott was the blue-collar Georgia boy who became NASCAR's $1 Million Man in 1985 by winning the sport's richest bonus, snagging the Daytona 500, Talladega 500, and Southern 500 in one season. Elliott had a need for speed. He set the all-time qualifying record at Talladega in 1987 at a blistering 212.8 miles per hour, a mark that still stands. With his easygoing charm, Bill won the Most Popular Driver Award a record 16 times, until he asked to be taken out of the running to give others a chance. Truly awesome. In 1988, he clinched the Cup championship, solidifying his superstar status. Fans would gather at the Dawsonville pool room to ring the siren every time Bill won, a hometown tradition. As the father of current star Chase Elliott, Bill's racing legacy spans generations. From his Winston Million payday to being the first NASCAR driver on the cover of Sports Illustrated, Elliott's blend of raw speed and fan connection made him a true folk hero, rich in winnings, richer in admiration. The Daredevil, Ross Chastain. In an era of buttoned-up racers, Ross Chastain showed up with a smash-mouth video game sensibility, literally. In 2022, Chastain pulled off the Hail Melon, a last-lap wall-riding move at Martinsville straight out of Mario Kart, slingshotting from 10th to 5th to make the championship 4. The footage of Ross gunning it and deliberately grinding the wall at full throttle, passing stunned competitors, instantly went viral. It was so mind-blowing that NASCAR promptly banned the maneuver as unsafe. No surprise. But that gutsy play encapsulates Ross's style. A 5th-generation watermelon farmer, Chastain smashes watermelons in victory lane to celebrate wins. He's got 6 in Cup Series so far. Rough you up on track too. earning a bit of a villain rep among drivers for aggressive tactics. Yet fans gravitate to his blue-collar story and all-or-nothing spirit. In a sport that sometimes plays it safe, Chastain is the daredevil willing to risk it all. Consequences be damned. The silent assassin, Matt Kenseth. Matt Kenseth was the quiet guy at the back of the bar who could throw a knockout punch when no one expected. Nicknamed Matt the Brat as a teen for his feisty short-track days, he matured into NASCAR's silent assassin, calm, calculating, and deadly efficient. Kenseth's consistency won him the 2003 Cup Championship so handily, with only one win but a boatload of top fives, that NASCAR changed the points system the next year. He typically avoided drama, rarely raising his voice or his heartbeat in the car. But if crossed, watch out. In 2015, after Joey Logano wrecked him, Kenseth shocked everyone by lying in wait and delivering payback at Martinsville, drilling Logano's car and igniting a thunderous cheer from fans. That uncharacteristic strike was like seeing the mild-mannered guy in a movie suddenly reveal he's been a hitman all along. With 39 wins and a Daytona 500 victory, Kenseth let results speak for him. No chest-thumping needed. Matt's poker face intensity and smooth driving made sure that when he did take a shot, it was a kill shot. The Outlaw, Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch's career could be a Netflix series. The early villain years, the fall from grace, and the road to redemption as a respected veteran. In his 20s, Kurt was brash and tempestuous, earning the nickname The Outlaw, and clashing with everyone from Jimmy Spencer, who punched Kurt's nose, to his own team owners. But this outlaw had serious speed, snagging the 2004 Cup Championship, the inaugural chase, and racking up over 30 wins. He was suspended in 2005 amid off-track drama, then fired in 2011 for berating his team on camera. Many thought that was the end. Instead, Busch rebuilt, working with smaller teams, mellowing out, and regaining respect. He scored an emotional Daytona 500 win in 2017 and became a mentor figure for younger drivers. The once wild cowboy turned into a sage gunslinger with a heart, even teaming up with kid brother Kyle at times, something unimaginable in their feud-filled youth. By the time a concussion sidelined Kurt in 2022, fans realized they'd miss his talent and wit. It's been a ride of highs and lows, but Kurt Busch's evolution from black hat outlaw to elder statesman proved that even the toughest characters can find redemption in the wild west of NASCAR. The fan favorite, Chase Elliott. Following in the tire tracks of a legend, his dad Bill Elliott, Chase Elliott carries the weight of a famous name with grace beyond his years. The 2020 Cup champion and current most popular driver, 7 years running, has NASCAR Nation's heart much like Dale Jr. before him. Chase's driving style is smooth and savvy. He's become the road course king of this era, stringing together win after win on the twisties. Off track, he's modest, polite, almost shy. But that resonates with fans craving a humble hero. When Elliott finally won his first championship, the scene was straight out of a movie, his Hall of Famer father greeting him with a hug amid roaring cheers. From Dawsonville's famous celebratory siren, yes, the town still sounds it for Chase's wins, just like for Bill's, to legions of fans in number 9 gear, Chase is the sport's golden boy of the new generation. He even handled a mid-race spin and subsequent comeback to win at Phoenix 20 with an unflappable cool. Chase Elliott proves you can be the fan favorite and a closer, and he's just getting started, much to the delight of the hashtag Chase Nation. The Mayor, Jeff Burton. Jeff Burton was dubbed the Mayor of the NASCAR Garage, the voice of reason, the respected elder statesman who could build consensus among drivers. Burton had a solid driving career himself, with 21 Cup wins, but his legacy is equally about leadership and sportsmanship. He'd speak up in drivers' meetings on safety or competition issues, essentially acting like the driver's union rep without the title. Clean-cut and well-spoken, Burton rarely made enemies, except that one time in 2010, he shockingly put Jeff Gordon in the wall under caution. Even the mayor had off days, and he immediately apologized. Burton's biggest on-track moments include back-to-back Southern 500 wins and a heroic Richmond 1998 victory where he passed 17 cars in the last 55 laps. But fans remember his class. He'd race you hard but fair, then articulate exactly how it all went down in the TV interview after. Now a broadcaster, Burton's mayoral tendencies continue as he breaks down the sport for viewers. In a landscape of big egos, Jeff Burton was the even-keeled public servant of NASCAR, always ready to lend a quote, help a younger driver, or mediate a feud. In other words, the trusted mayor to the very end. The Enforcer, Cale Yarborough. Tough as rawhide and fearless behind the wheel, Cale Yarborough was NASCAR's original enforcer. At just 5 feet 7 inches, Cale was a scrapper, the kind of guy who would literally fight for a win. In fact, he's forever linked to the 1979 Daytona 500 brawl, when he and the Allison brothers traded blows in the infield grass on live TV, putting NASCAR on the national map. But Yarborough was more than fists. He was the first driver to win 3 consecutive Cup championships from 1976 to 1978 and totaled 83 wins in his career. He drove with an aggressive never-back-down style. If you were in his way, you'd likely get the chrome horn, a little bumper nudge. Yet off-track he had a country boy charm and even tried his hand at Indy 500 and ran semi-pro football for fun. With his hard-nosed approach, Cale earned respect as a driver who took nothing from anybody. He once chased down Bobby Allison in the garage for a confrontation wearing a borrowed policeman's helmet, to avoid a repeat of being hit over the head with one. Cale Yarborough embodied the tough guy era of NASCAR, an enforcer who let his driving and, occasionally, his fists do the talking, and in doing so, became a legend. The superspeedway specialist, Michael Waltrip. Michael Waltrip's NASCAR career is a story of perseverance, heartbreak, and superspeedway magic. After 462 winless starts, he finally triumphed at the 2001 Daytona 500, the sport's biggest stage. That emotional victory was forever shadowed by the death of Dale Earnhardt, his team owner and friend, on the final lap. Still, Michael didn't fade. He won Daytona again in 2003, added 2 Talladega victories, and carved out a legacy as a super speedway specialist. All 4 of his Cup wins came at restrictor plate tracks, where he mastered the art of drafting like few others. Off the track, Mikey was known for his goofy charm. He starred in commercials, reality TV, and even Dancing with the Stars. Fans loved his lighthearted energy, but on the track at Daytona and Dega, he was all business. Driving for Dale Earnhardt Inc., Waltrip and Dale Jr. became a fearsome tandem, dominating the high banks. While his overall stats may seem modest, few could match his knack for timing the perfect slingshot pass or surfing the draft with grace. In the unpredictable world of plate racing, Michael Waltrip was a true artist. His career is a reminder that even in NASCAR, greatness can shine brightest in one perfect domain. Bubba Wallace, the Warrior. Bubba Wallace is NASCAR's modern warrior, carrying both the weight of history and the fire of competition as the sport's only full-time Black Cup driver since Wendell Scott. His rise has been steady, a breakthrough win at Kansas in 2022, his first playoff run and a career-best 10th in points in 2023, and his most consistent season yet in 2024 with 6 top 5 finishes. The defining moment came in 2025 when he outdueled Kyle Larson in double overtime to win the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis, snapping a 100-race drought and becoming the first Black driver to conquer Indy's oval. That win was his 3rd career Cup victory and his first true crown jewel, stamping him as a playoff force. Off the track, Wallace has pushed NASCAR forward on diversity, openly discussed mental health, and embraced his role as both competitor and catalyst. Equal parts barrier breaker and contender, he embodies NASCAR's future as much as its fight. Thanks for tuning in to the NASCAR Explainer. If you liked the video, do subscribe to our channel for getting more interesting NASCAR videos on your feed every other day. Which of these drivers is your favorite? Comment below and let us know.